really. Like, I'm not even a big fan of Thundercats, let me just get that out there. I didn't grow up on it, but this?
You don't know what a Thundercat is?
This is a little pathetic now. So surprised, people are pissed off at Cartoon Network's rebooting of the Thundercats, now called Thundercats Roar, and it's quite clear that many people do not like this already. Thundercats Roar, eh? More like Thundercats. But it's quite clear what the people think about this, and if I were running Cartoon Network, I'd probably change their formula up a bit. Now whatever, it's a cartoon aimed at really little kids, like toddlers at this point, but like any forms of media, it's up for critique, and really these are supposed to be family shows that all can watch. That's how they're advertised, right? Plus, I'm a man-child anyway, so I might as well complain about cartoons for a little bit. So this 3-minute look at the new Thundercats Roar show has people all in a hullabaloo because the show looks like every other cheap, stupid, wacky, bubbly show that they've consistently been peddling towards kids. There are a few exceptions to this like Steven Universe, Amazing World of Gumball, We Bare Bears, OKKO. However, those shows are consistently put on the back burner while they insist on shoveling other shows like Teen Titans Go, Ben 10, Unikitty, Powerpuff Girls. Just these basic remade shows that are quick to make, whose formula is that of any random premise you want to pluck from the air, that way there's minimal effort put into the story and characters. It's been something that's been both obvious and lazy, and at this point is just so noticeable. So when wind of rebooting Thundercats emerged, immediately no one was having it. This behind-the-scenes trailer by Cartoon Network showcases their upcoming project, and well, just take a look for yourself at what you're going to be expecting from this. I have a few things I want to respond in this as well, because there's stuff that's said that I personally don't think is true.
Hey there everyone, my name's Lion-O, and I'm the star of a new show called Thundercats Roar. Wait, you don't know what a Thundercat is? Well, let's start small. I'm a Thundercat, and this is my magic slicing stick, Sword of Omens. Give me sight beyond sight!
I grew up watching Thundercats. My older brothers were super into it. I watched a bunch of it when I was a kid and sort of stuck with me for a long time. I think that the world that they built lends itself really well to comedy because of how silly and crazy and outlandish some of those ideas are and some of those settings are. But at the same time, like, it wouldn't be Thundercats if it didn't have super cool action elements, because that's what people came back to, is very much something that we want to lean on. So with the new show, we're not walking away from the action in any bit. Every step we take towards comedy, we take 2 more towards really cool action scenes and explosions and laser effects. When I eventually started learning how to animate, I looked at Thundercats, like especially the opening sequence, all the freaking time for reference. The original Thundercats intro is animation history gold. It's a challenge by the original show. If you're gonna do a new Thundercats, you better make the intro good. It's gotta be exceptionally good. The concept of the intro is the entire backstory of the Thundercats, all the way from the explosion of Thundera to their chase through space, to their crash landing on Third Earth, to being attacked by Mum-Ra and the mutants and building Cat's lair. All these elements are there in this one big, crazy, sweeping camera move. Everything was driven by music. I basically scoured my music library for anything that felt like the right kind of energy. As soon as I got this song, Thunder Neko by Shinsei Kamate-chan, it was impossible to break away from that. There was nothing that could compete with the energy that this song has. This show is all about praise and love of the original. So as a fan, I'll say that this is the Thundercats show that I want. So hopefully you do too.
Wow, that was fun! Who knew making animation was so complicated? Now, what do you say we watch a little video clip? Actually, I don't have any idea what this thing is. Let's see if it works like this! Yep, guess it does.
Yeah.
So let's go over a few things in this that I already have a problem with.
I think that the world that they built lends itself really well to comedy because of how silly and crazy and outlandish some of those ideas are and some of those settings are.
Okay, the problem is that you can literally apply that to any property. In fact, most have, and people are getting sick of it, especially when it's a pre-established name that others know about and are expecting it to, at least in some small degree, have resemblance from its previous incarnation. I just don't get why you can't make something original, say it's inspired by Thundercats or whatever it is you want to resell, and let it have the chance to be something new. The nostalgia cash grab game is so obvious from these companies that they're scared of trying any original shit. Like, isn't it nice pretending that this is quote new when it's something old being repackaged as something shittier and tricking fans of the original? Because that's all you do in this, and then you wonder why fans get pissed off? Like, this doesn't look like Thundercats, it looks like fucking Kablam.
When I eventually started learning how to animate, I looked at Thundercats, like especially the opening sequence, all the freaking time for reference. The original Thundercats intro is animation history gold. It's a challenge by the original show. If you're gonna do a new Thundercats, you better make the intro good. It's gotta be exceptionally good. The concept of the intro is the entire backstory of the Thundercats, all the way from the explosion of Thundera to their chase through space, to their crash landing on Third Earth, to being attacked by Mum-Ra and the mutants and building Cat's lair. All these elements are there in this one big, crazy, sweeping camera move.
So my problem with this claim is that if you compare the intros from the original and even the anime reboot of it, yes, their openings are some animation gold. However, when you saw the intro for the new Thundercats, it doesn't remotely resemble any of these in terms of animation, in terms of the action-packed quality. This is straight up a fucking lie. Here is the original show's intro. Now here's the Thundercats Roar intro.
Yeah!
I feel like there's a clear, staunch fucking difference here, and it's mostly in tone. I mean, yeah, no shit though, right? I mean, it's not gonna be like the classic, it's not gonna be like the anime, but don't at the same time try and compare it to the original in this regard, because no? Like, if fans of the original or of the anime look at this and don't like it, then obviously they're not gonna watch it because it's not meant for them. Although I will say this is kind of judging a book by its cover, because the simple animation alone has people really peeved off. And let me be clear, just because something has simple animation doesn't mean it'll be bad.
This show is all about praise and love of the original. So as a fan, I'll say that this is the Thundercats show that I want. So hopefully you do too.
then it seems like you did a piss poor job conveying that praise and love to the original, because there is so much disdain for your version. Now, in defense of this guy, I don't think he should be made a public pariah for what Cartoon Network and Warner Brothers are pushing him to do, what they hired him to do, but to say that you love the original and then peddle this, I mean, come on, dude. I'm not going to make a no true Scotsman fallacy here, but wouldn't you think, as a staunch fan, you'd want it as close as the original as possible? Making it all goofy and quote funny when it's more annoying random humor is going against what it was entirely. Not saying that the show didn't have its funny moments or comic relief characters who were annoying, but it didn't fill its entire show's roster of characters with that, didn't have every character be annoying and jokey. The problem with having all of your characters be like that is that there's no straight man, there's no one to inject the logical nuance against the chaos, bouncing off of the humor and creating more, just making it part of the norm. Now, a show like Gumball can pull this concept off well because the visuals and scenarios keep you interested. You can see that the show has hard work put into it because of the different unique animations and characters, whilst also having clever social and random humor tossed in. Now, could the same be said for this? Probably not, but I'm not interested to find out. That's what it kind of comes down to, is that this looks boring, unappealing, uninteresting, and it just comes across as so desperate as a nostalgia cash grab. The best thing to do with things like this is really to ignore it, and that sends more of a message than watching it just to be pissed or to complain about it. Also remember that this is aimed towards really little kids too, so they brought the bar down a shit ton just to appease the specific target audience here. So really, this ends up being an inconsequential trash heap that you can probably just skip entirely. I know I'm probably going to. But real quick, I wanted to bring up a tiny thing that others aren't really mentioning, and that's that Cartoon Network has not officially released this yet. Like, have you noticed that not Cartoon Network's channel, but a third-party channel has uploaded this trailer, and their content is rather questionable? Same with Warner Brothers TV, like this isn't their main official channel, so I don't understand why they didn't upload it to their bigger channels if this was the case. So I'm extremely skeptical if this is even a real thing and not some bullshit joke being played. Either way, that's really all I had to say about this. Thank you patrons so much for your support, it's always appreciated. Thanks for watching, and like usual, I'll see you all later in the next video.